Hi, everybody. My name is Kobe Warner. This is KOBLIZZY. Welcome back to another episode, or welcome for the first time if you're listening for the first time. Happy that you're here, irregardless. I'm going to start with the song of the week. So, it's a flashback this week. Usually, the song of the week is something relatively new. This week, it's going to be a song that was one of my favorite songs when I was like 10, a long time ago. Judas by Lady Gaga. I woke up this morning and I just had Lady Gaga on my mind. I don't know why. I just remember how good of a performer she is, and I was like, there were specific performances like Judas on SNL in like 2011, Judas on Graham Norton. I watched this morning. Judas on the Born This Way ball tour. All before Gaga broke her hip. And so it's interesting knowing that and watching her perform, knowing how much pain and stress she was under, because she was tearing that shit up, like, and singing live. What I loved about it is she was wearing one of those, like, I always call it the Britney mic, or the Hillary Duff in the Hillary Duff movie mic. This is what dreams are made of. The mic that goes there. Anyway, so Gaga was wearing one of those, and so it's in your mouth the whole time, obviously. And she's doing these dances, and during the dance breaks, I love that you could just hear her breathing in the mic, and I love that they didn't turn it off because she's like, "Yeah, my mic is on, honey." And she always sings live, and she's made a point to say that, and like that's respectable. I actually don't even mind artists lip syncing for purpose. Like there are some artists that like lip sync in shows for the purpose of stamina, if it's like dancing or whatever. But it's really impressive for artists who don't like Lady Gaga or like Pink, who does all that acrobatic aerial shit, and her mic's always on. Like that's stamina. And it's really respectable in a live performer. Reminds me of Broadway performers, like eight shows a week dancing and singing, you know, will get you in a certain kind of shape. I think Broadway performers are some of the most hardworking, if not the most hardworking live performers. And I think Lady Gaga and Pink, artists who sing live and dance and do really athletic performance while also having a live mic. I think that's reminiscent of Broadway performers. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, this week we're talking about menses, as RuPaul would say, in a lot of different ways. So, men. I am a person who looks like a man, but I have never felt like a man. Long before I identified as non binary, I have never felt like at one with my people when I'm with other men. I've never felt like one of the boys. I've never felt like one of the guys. Even around, well, I'll get there. I've just never felt super comfortable in male dominant situations. Like I have like stress trauma memories of being in like youth group at church, and it was divided by gender, and so the girls were over here and the boys were like off in some other room somewhere, and it was some of the most uncomfortable like 20 some odd minutes at the end of church in my life, just sitting there with boys who I had absolutely nothing in common with, like trying to bond about God. Um, Boys have just never been my cup of tea because, I mean, in my early years, to be honest, I didn't. I wonder if you can hear my refrigerator the way I can hear it because that shit was really loud just now. In my early years, I didn't have good relationships with boys. I had some close male friends who were really abusive to me in a lot of ways. And they just weren't nice, and they didn't give me a good experience, a good first boy best friend experience. And unfortunately, because I am queer and because other people found me visibly queer even before I came out, I was, teased for being a sissy or for being other things that weren't super nice. And that also didn't. There was always men. It was always men. It was always men. I'm like, I had girls question my sexuality. Lots of people questioned my sexuality before I came out. But I don't remember a girl ever overtly teasing me and to the point of calling me a name. Like I did boys. They were just mean. They were just fucking mean. And so, all these years later, that doesn't hurt me anymore. I remember it. I recall it, but it doesn't feel like yesterday or anything. It was a long time ago. But I did suffer a lot of abuse, verbal and otherwise, by men in the first 15 years of my life. And I mean, I think that's a valid. I think can understand that might have given me a complex, because there were just situations. I don't know. I was really just unsure of myself and insecure. And so in sixth grade, to pivot to something a little bit more positive, in the sixth grade, I had been called gay and other meaner names for years that trace back to homosexuality, and and I didn't know what it meant, for like the elementary school years of my life, like 10 and before. But when I was in the sixth grade, I was not a One Direction fan, so I really am not sure how this happened. But Harry Styles, I found very attractive, and I literally like was not. I did not listen to One Direction music. I'd be honest about it. Like back then, I did not. But then somehow I stumbled on Harry, and I thought he was so attractive. And so we're talking about men, and I said we're going to be talking about men in lots of capacities. So now we're kind of talking about my sexual awakening. Harry Styles was my sexual awakening, really because of like One Direction fan fiction. It's so embarrassing. What's even weirder about it though is I wasn't a One Direction fan. So why are you reading? Why are you reading One Direction fan fiction? But you're not. Anyway, so Harry Styles was my sexual awakening. I was like, oh my god, Harry Styles is so just dreamy, and I've always thought so. I still love Harry Styles. I don't know if you can see him. Let me pull up the viewfinder. Harry is on the wall many times. He's right there, but you can't see it. It's cut off. He's right here, and his infamous dress picture is over there, out of frame. I'm sure you've seen it before if you are a regular watcher of the KOBLIZZY podcast. But let me cover it up again. So Harry Styles was my sexual awakening. That is so funny to me. But I knew that I was gay in the sixth grade. And then proceeded to date girls. I dated a couple of girls. I dated a girl in the seventh grade. There wasn't like a real relationship. It was also a hot mess express. We were both Geminis. Like, that's fucking crazy. And then I dated another girl sophomore year. I didn't date another girl till sophomore year. I think that's true. And then I dated another girl the same year. And then right after that, I came out. And so I feel like both of those situations were a little more short lived, I think. They weren't very long escapades by any means. And I also never did anything with any of these girls. I barely touched them. I just was like the worst boyfriend ever. Because I knew that I was gay. And it's not that I was trying to manipulate them or like, I don't know. I just really thought I was going to spend my entire life pretending not to be gay. Like, I thought I was going to get married to a woman and have children. And I genuinely believed that one, was going to happen, but two, also that it would work. Like, there is not so many failed examples of people trying to do that very thing for ever since the beginning of time. And so when I stopped dating girls and I came out, I'm talking about men. So I didn't have any male friends until high school. I had one male friend in like late elementary school, like fifth grade, and then we were friends in middle school, and then we had a falling out before we went to high school. And then when I came out, he actually started talking about me in a negative way for being gay. He was very much a toxic straight man. But I had like one guy friend. And then I didn't have a real, like, genuine relationship with a guy who appreciated me for who I was as a gay male. And that guy was a straight male. And that was just that, a platonic friendship until high school. And so I really, really, really cherished that relationship because I had never experienced something like that before. I saw TikTok the other day. I have no idea who posted it. I hate when that happens. That's the one thing about TikTok is that you can never, when you see something just in passing, I just never know. I can never reference it again. Because I like so many TikToks, it's so hard to find shit. Anyway, there was this guy talking about being a gay person. And he was like, whenever you get like any sort of male attention that is just inherently positive and there's no ulterior motives or negativity being sent your direction from a straight male, it is so like you almost get giddy. And that is it's kind of a weird thing to say out loud, but it's the truth. And I think I mean, it kind of still happens, you know, when you find a really secure straight man who's just really nice. But in high school, after being made fun of and beaten up and otherwise by men, boys, um, I should say boys. The abuse that came from me in my childhood was all from boys, but it was abuse nonetheless. So anyway, going to high school and establishing this male relationship, it was so male platonic relationship. It was like I don't know, something, it heals something in your heart. You definitely, it relates you back to your inner child. Anyway, I really cherish that friendship. I've had I had when I went to college, I definitely experienced some really nice, secure straight men. And experiencing a bunch, more than one, plural, nice, secure straight men was a phenomenon. It was also my first time experiencing, a large population of queer men that weren't just from musical theater. Actually, some of them were still from musical theater, but they weren't all from musical theater when I was in college. But anyway, so those early experiences with straight men who were just nice. I just burped. Excuse me. That is so funny. It's so LaCroix. I've actually never done that on. I'll have to edit that out probably. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll leave it in because I'm real and quirky. Speaking of real and quirky, Emma Chamberlain has red hair. That girl fucking ate. Like, she posted that on Instagram in like a photo dump yesterday, a couple days ago. Ate down. In her house. If you haven't seen her house on Architectural Digest, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but her fucking house chews, licks her fingers, no crumbs. Amazing. It's gorgeous. And so is her red hair. Back to men. Let's stop talking about bullying. Let's talk about men in a positive light. Hot men. Let's talk about sexy, hot, delicious men. I am gay. I feel like I only ever talk about men in a negative way, and I do like men. Although I haven't talked to a man in like 10 months. I don't even like, flirt anyway. I'm in a very long dry spell. Definitely on purpose. So like I can get some, everyone. And it's not that. It's like, it's not by choice or anything. It's just me. Lil Nas X. Am in love. Dare I say. I love Lil Nas X. He is just everything. I love everything that he does that challenges the norm. I love how it just does not care and is a troll almost on social media to the people who troll him and to the naysayers and to the people who are homophobic or unkind. But also he's so attractive, and he also is literally from like very close to where I live in Metro Atlanta. He's from like very close, like 20 minutes away maybe. Like I googled it one time, it was crazy. I was like, that is insane. Like really, really close. He doesn't live there anymore, I don't think. Obviously, he probably lives in LA. But Lil Nas X, if you're ever visiting home, you know where to find me. Well, actually, you don't, but you can hit me up and I'll let you know. Okay, I love Lil Nas X. He is so fine. I already said I loved Harry Styles. It's definitely changed over the years because he's gotten hotter with time. Like back then, he was cute. Now he is fine. Speaking of One Direction, Zayn is absolutely ridiculously so attractive, and that is on period. Also, I saw the other day that he put out a song. Like, well, it's not like Jimi Hendrix is obviously not alive or not with us anymore. But Zayn has like a remix, some song or something with Jimi Hendrix. I don't know what it is. I haven't listened to it, but I saw that. I was like, that's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. Like when Michael Jackson and Justin Timberlake, love never felt so good. That kind of AIDS. And that was after Michael Jackson passed. But something about releasing artists' vault music, like posthumously, is I don't know, because I guess like it's what are you gonna do with the music if you don't put it out? But it's just kind of like I guess they're dead, so they don't know. I don't know. Something about that's funny to me. I'm just like, who's making those decisions? I know it's the estate, but like, who's the estate? Anyway, so speaking of that, actually, Thriller. It's like the 40th anniversary of Michael Jackson's album Thriller, and so they just put out this new like deluxe version with all these like demos and shit on it. There's a song with Kanye West on it. I feel like they could maybe cut his part or something. That's a little messy to me, but what am I even talking about? I'm not on topic at all. Men, attractive men. Um, I said Lil Nas X. I said Harry Styles. I said Zayn. All of those are so true. Let's talk about childhood crushes. I had some other childhood crushes for sure. Like, oh my God, Cameron Boyce. I loved Cameron Boyce. God rest his soul. I loved him so much. And a lot of people told me I look like Cameron Boyce, which I literally don't even think is true. Maybe it was when I was younger. I'm like, we don't look alike. First of all, he is so pale and he's covered in freckles. He is mixed, but I'm like, I have one, two, three, four freckles above my neck, and no, there's actually one up there too. But like, what do you mean I look like Cameron Boyce? Do you guys agree? I don't think so. That doesn't even make sense. I'm literally gonna make that the poll question. Do I look like Cameron Boyce? Because people used to tell me I look like Cameron Boyce all the time. Do I look like Cameron Boyce? I don't think so. Like I said, maybe they were talking about back then, but kind of always just looked like this. I just got bigger with time. My face has always kind of been the same. I've always had the same amount of freckles. Um. Anyway, yeah, I loved Cameron Boyce when I was a kid. There were some fine ass boys on Disney. Like, what were they doing? Ross Lynch. I passed away. I passed away thinking about Ross Lynch. When I used to watch Austin and Ally, I thought Ross Lynch was the cutest. But oh my god. Nowadays, Ross Lynch is fine. Oh my god, Ross Lynch is so hot. I cannot. Ross Lynch is so hot. Ross Lynch is so hot. He's so hot. I just got goosebumps right now. I think Ross Lynch is taking the cake today. He is my crush. That girl from Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina that he is dating, she won. She won. Jazz, is that her name? Roz, that was her name on the show, I think. She ate. She won it like for real. I'm like, I saw all these tweets about how like so sexual Ross Lynch was looking at his live performances, and people were like, "What is he singing that he needs to be looking like this?" And I was like, "Does it matter? I don't know what he was singing either." But like, I was like, "Damn, I should have got a ticket." I don't know what I listened to. The Driver Era is the name of the group that he was on tour for. So I guess I do know what he was singing because I do know some of their songs, but I don't know. Like, they don't sound like that. They don't sound the way he was looking. But like, hey, daddy, that's fine. However, he needs to sell tickets. And if that's how he wants to sell tickets, that's fine. I'm buying it. I'm buying. Next time they're going on tour, I will be in the audience. See you in Atlanta, Ross Lynch. See you in Atlanta. Um, who else is attractive and fine and delicious? I was talking about childhood crushes. there's some models in high school that I thought were so like Brian Whitaker. These are like mixed boys. I think I just liked them because they were mixed and they remind me of myself. I think I wanted to look like them maybe, but also they're hot. Brian Whitaker, Brian H. Whitaker is a model. Reese King is a model. So hot, both of them. So just like you are so attractive. You are so attractive. You are so attractive. Like I just can't. Just men. Like that's the thing about men is that you heard me complain about them for however long at the beginning of this podcast. Now I'm telling you how hot they are. Like it's the dichotomy of men. They are a nuisance to society, but they can also be gorgeous. And some are so gorgeous, you don't want to look away. You just don't want to look away. And some it's tomato, 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 tomato. So dichotomy of men. It's the dichotomy of men. What else should I talk about? The Christmas season really is upon us. Like it is Monday, November 28th, filming this episode on the day of, as per usual. And the Christmas season's giving. Like I'm happy it's here. My mom and I, my family and I, my mom and dad and I have been watching Christmas movies. And I've been listening to KOBLIZZY Christmas, available on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and Amazon Music, linked in my link tree, which is also linked in the link tree. It would oh shit, I fucked up. The link tree is in the description of every single episode of this podcast. You know the spiel. Anyway, I've been listening to Christmas music. I've been watching Christmas movies. I've been baking cookies. We've been decorating the house for Christmas. And I like this time of year. I like this time of year. Um, because I don't know, it's about to be the last month of the year. It's almost December, and I'm just looking back like at this year. It was a hard one for me. It was one of my least favorites thus far in my 20 years of life thus far. This year was really really hard, and most of it I was not enjoying myself that much. And so I have come a long way. I'm doing a lot better. And I don't know. I deserve praise for that. I deserve praise for a lot less than that. You should give your self praise for the little things, accomplishing little things. But the progress that I've made this year is definitely worth a pat on my own back from me. And so, I mean, yeah, it's the Christmas season, but it's about to be a new year. I cannot believe it's about to be 2023. That doesn't even make sense. I cannot believe how old. I cannot believe how old I'm getting. I know that sounds crazy. I'm only 20. So, like, thank God I'm only 20 and I've realized how valuable life is right now. You know what I mean? But, like, I cannot believe how much time has flown by so fast. So now I'm really trying to be present. It's a challenge for me because I'm not always so great at being present because there's a lot of distractions. I feel like I'm in therapy now. I was talking about hot men. This episode has been so chaotic. I don't even know how long I've been taping for. I always say I'm gonna set a timer before I start the episode, so I like know how long it may be. And I never actually set that timer. And so I never actually like know what's going on or know where I'm at in the episode. Of course, I didn't glance at the clock before. It's like yeah, I'm gonna keep talking, I guess. So maybe we should pivot back to Hot Men, or maybe we should talk about some music. I know I mentioned Judas earlier, and I do like that song. But I'm getting excited because the Spotify Wrapped. I think last year came out on December 1st. So I'm like, if Spotify Wrapped comes out on December 1st this year, next week's episode is going to be about my Spotify Wrapped. So just get ready for that. I'm excited to talk about the music that I've been loving this year. Yeah. Also, I've been making some Spotify playlists. I made like one of like standards, like American standards, adult standards, is what Spotify calls them, but it's like old songs, 50s, 60s. Connie Francis, Etta James, Brenda Lee, Billie Holiday, Nat King Cole, Julie London, Patti Page, Ella Fitzgerald, stuff like that. It's a good playlist. Frank Sinatra. It's called Way Back in the Day, which is on my personal Spotify profile, also linked in my link tree. I think I mentioned before I have a Glee playlist, a theater playlist, way back in the day, gospel, country, a sad playlist called Ouch, a chill playlist called Ice Water, happy playlist called Feeling Good, a childhood playlist called Wonder Years, high school playlist, quarantine playlist, college playlist, and then 2022. I don't know what to call 2022 other than the year. Everything else so far has a title other than the year: college, quarantine, high school, Wonder Years. But this year is just 2022. I dropped out of college. It's not college anymore. I only went to college for a year. So, I don't know. Rebirth. This is my butterfly era. That's why I got this tattoo. I don't know if I've ever told the story of this tattoo. The reason I got it, it was March. I dropped out of school in February. I came home in February to Atlanta. And me and my friend Anna were hanging out. And I was like, I want to get a tattoo. And I had a butterfly on my mind and my heart for a while to get in my heart. There's a heart back there. That's not what I meant. But I'd had a butterfly on my mind to like get as a tattoo for a while. And so we went to this random ass tattoo shop in Marietta, Georgia, and I said I want a butterfly on my hand, and I showed him a picture on Pinterest, and he said okay, and he put it on my hand, and he did a great job. It was so random. I didn't make an appointment. We just like walked in. He just happened to be a great tattoo artist, and it turned out wonderful. And it represents rebirth and change, because I've hated school for a long time, honestly since high school. I literally didn't want to go to college, really, to be honest. That's why I didn't even go to real college. I went to a conservatory music school. And so dropping out and like finally like being able to do what I really, really wanted to do or pursue what I really, really, really wanted to do was a big step for me, and it was also like me coming out of my shell finally, and me finally claiming and owning my worth and that I'm talented. Because I've been performing for years, but I've always been insecure about my talent, and I didn't know if I could actually make something out of it. And I finally think that I can, and that confidence wavers from time to time, but I do think that I am here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, this episode was all over the place, and I talked about everything. And like I said, if Spotify Rap comes out on December 1st, you will be hearing from me next week. You'll be hearing from me next week anyway, but you'll be hearing about my Spotify Rap next week. But anyway, this was fun. I hope this episode was long enough, at least 30 minutes. Uh, if it's not, oops. And I'll see you next time. And next week I'll set the timer. I promise. So I love you even if I don't know you. Thank you for listening or watching. And that's it. Kobe out. Mwah. That was a loud kiss.